Hey guys, welcome back to Big Innings. Nate, we're back home. We didn't have an episode yesterday. A lot of things went down, and so we felt, you know what? Maybe we don't need an episode yesterday. But it's a new day today. We're home. We feel the humidity going on right now. We have the live stream going on Nate's laptop. It's all happening right now. Nate, we're back at Church Street Park, man. How good does that feel?
It's really, really good. It feels good to be back here, not just because it's about 10 degrees cooler.
Yeah.
Which is hot enough. It's hot enough.
It's hot enough and it's sticky. It's very sticky.
It's sticky. But it's great to, obviously sleep in our own beds. And, but there's so much going on right now. For some reason, even though these games here get done earlier, I'm more tired when they're finished.
Well, they're super exciting. So we got two jam-packed games to get into. So we're going to just start off with it. Yesterday, the Los Angeles Knight Riders took on the Washington Freedom. What was the first match here at Church Street Park? And you knew whoever's going to win the toss was going to bowl anyway.
Right.
Yes, we know at Church Street Park you want to bowl first because the dew that comes in after a day-night game.
Yep.
But no one knew what this wicket was going to do. So they said, you know what, we're going to go out there and bowl. And Washington did just that. They won the toss, and they elected to bowl. Same sides for both teams, just different venues.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's like you said, you're going to win the toss. You're going to send the other team in to bat first, not just because it's new, but like the dew comes in.
Yes.
About 10 overs into the innings, Dre Russell was saying afterwards, about 10 overs in, it started to become a good batting surface last night. And boy, did he take advantage of that.
He did, but before we jump into that, you have to do what the Knight Riders did and go through all the struggles that they did up top. And it started with Unmukchand and Jason Roy. Only one run in their first over against Marco Janssen. He said, okay, getting accustomed to the wicket.
Right.
Only 2 runs against Saurabh Netravalkar. So you got 3 runs through 2 overs. Then you get 3 runs off a Norkia wicket, Janssen over in the third. They get 7 runs. And then by the time you get to that 4th over, you lose the wicket of Jason Roy. He doesn't get any of his big striking. And Unmukchand never looked him flow. Nitish Kumar only, maybe hit a couple of things here and there, but never really looked in any real nick. And you really, Jaskar Malhotra got a 6 away, then swept basically with his eyes closed, clean through. And it left Dre Russ and Riley Rousseau out there to bat. But that partnership kept them in the game.
Absolutely. It revived them completely. After the first 3 overs, I think we heard you were the PA. I think I heard you say that the expected score was 47 runs.
It was 47 runs, and I got the call from the director, said, all right, go projected score. I didn't know what the projected score was. I knew it was going to be low, and I look up, I'm like, I don't know if I should say it, but we said it. Yep. And I think that was kind of the feeling around the ground. Was like, wow.
There was a collective gasp.
It was like, holy smoke.
However, We've done enough commentary, you and I, at this ground. Check that out, by the way, whenever the Morrisville Raptors play.
Absolutely. Same production team.
Same production team as in Big Innings. But we've done enough commentary at games here to know that the power play, just because you don't score runs in the power play, it's not the end of the world. We know that the batting comes along as the game goes on. And we know that there are phases to games played here in each innings. And yes, the Dre Russ phase.
Yeah, if you want to call it that, the Dre Russ phase
was special. The Knight Riders had no business getting to 175.
No.
They should have they should have not even topped 140.
Nope.
Dre Russ made sure that they did, and he showed that might not be a batting wicket for some people, but I'm Dre Russ.
I'm not some people.
Right.
I am not some people. 70 off 37. A couple of those shots you can see.
You can see, and look
right
at that
there.
Sucker right there.
He was just smacking it all over the ground. Hit the big netting up there at Church Street Park. Thank God we have that. Otherwise, I saw a white car and I said, oh my God, that white car's in trouble. And then it hit the net. I said, I forgot we had that over here.
Hey, would have made some great reels on Instagram. We could have made some really good popular reels off of that if it had hit a car. But it didn't hit a car thanks to this wonderful net here. We're going to call it the Dre Russ net.
The Dre Russ net.
But he was only about 29 of his first 21 balls or something like that, and then he just exploded.
He just exploded. And it's a typical Dre Russ, DJ Bravo type innings where they're going to stick in, and wait to explode. And he was able to explode. And again, the Knight Riders had a total to defend because of Dre Russ's innings. Riley Rousseau quietly did his thing as well, 41 off 30. He was able to hold down an end, which was, I think, really important to not get Sunil Narayan, who's not been in a great nick, not get Cornet Dry and Adam Zampa out there too early.
Yeah.
So for him to hold down that end was really important. Sunil Narayan goes for a duck.
Yep.
But Cornet, he had a big 6 down the ground. But again, 175, when you just felt the wicket was starting to open up, you didn't know if this was going to be enough.
And honestly, if you were just following the score, if you followed all the scores in Major League, and all of a sudden you look at the score of the first innings, you're thinking, LA should win this game. And really, it was all about the start for the second innings. It was going to be all about the start. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, about that start. Remember how we said that the Knight Riders, they were 13 for 1 after 4. Well, after 4 for the Washington Freedom, it was 58 for none. So and you could see the night and day there, and it's because of Matthew Short and our buddy Andres Kels. He was fantastic with bat in hand. We were waiting for him for that big score, right? We knew at some point he was going to come through. Listen to this, big score, 40 off of 15, Nate.
Crazy.
And the crazy thing, talking to Matthew Short post-game, he was saying, we came into it, wanting just to be a little bit safer, not wanting to risk anything. And Kelsey goes 40 off of 15 deliveries. They opened the first over 4-4.6.1.
Right.
And the second over goes 1-4-4.46. Like, you can see the shots here. They were hitting boundaries with such ease, such regulation. And again, just go to show that the wicket was getting better for batting, and this one seemed to be pretty much over before it started.
It really did. They took all of the mystery out of the second innings there. I mean, I admit, I thought Washington had a great chance to win. I thought that they were favorites after the first innings, but I did not expect to see this aggression and this successful aggression right off the top. And let's look a little bit at the bowling here from LAKR. Spencer Johnson was expensive. Ali Khan was expensive. Now, Ali was coming off of maybe the worst game of his life.
Right.
And Spencer Johnson bowled really well in the last game. The two of them, neither of them were effective.
No, neither were effective. And again, it just goes to show, I think, the quality of both Short and House, but it also goes to show that this is a wicket that you want to bat second on because the dude comes in. You saw the ball started to kind of come onto the bat versus the first innings. It felt like they had to go and manufacture things and were unable to play a couple of those scoops that he really likes.
Right.
And you saw bowlers in the first innings take advantage of it. Moses Enriquez, he was great. 3 overs, 26 runs, 3 wickets for him.
Was terrific. He was
Marco
fantastic.
Janssen, 4 overs, 2 wickets to his name. So bowling was not hard to do in that first innings.
Right. And we only saw 2 overs from our buddy Dane, one of the members of our team.
And he was good in those 2 overs. Only 8 runs in those 2 overs.
Fantastic.
Very
limited.
A great photo of him in the field, too. If you see that flying around on social. Another episode of him with the little Mike. I love Dane with little Mike.
The little Mike stuff with Dane it's like it's made for him.
He's just the funniest guy on planet Earth.
He's a great guy. And our buddy, let's talk about what Obus did in the second innings, right at the end.
Right at the end, you had Glenn Phillips, 29 off 19, and Obus comes in. And I think he kind of needed innings for himself as well. We saw him kind of start to get going in their last game in Dallas, but I think he needed one of these to just kind of come off. And last night was his night. 26 off of 17, 4 fours to his name as well. I think that was big for his confidence.
Just put it away.
Yeah, just put the game away and finish the game off, which is key. So all in all, a really comprehensive win for Washington. They never looked out of control. They never looked like they were going to fumble this game away. And again, we talked about it. This is probably what both of us picked to be the best team in the competition, at least to win the competition in the end of it.
Yeah.
Pre-Major League.
A lot of people are surprised that we picked Washington.
Yeah.
And it's not just because Dane is a part of our group, is a part of Big Innings. It's got something to do with that.
It may be a little bit, but it's the way teams are constructed.
No, but yeah, we think they have the balance, and we talked about it our last episode.
Yeah.
The non-IPL teams, who are now, I believe, 7-2 in the tournament. They have a little bit of an advantage. They don't have to play their franchise players that everybody wants to see. They play the players that fit their balance the best.
Yeah.
And the IPL teams now 3-7 in the tournament. With Texas being by far the most successful of them, and Texas playing in the second game or the Wednesday night's game, which we'll get to shortly. But yeah, it's something. We really like the balance of Washington Freedom, and I had said before that I thought Washington's biggest downside was that they didn't have a left-handed bat until number 8. However,
came around at this point.
We've talked about this.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to distinguish yourself from the crowd, and sometimes distinguishing from yourself from the crowd means having a team that not everyone's built to beat.
Right.
And one of the great benefits of Washington's bowling is they have an answer for every style of batter, pretty much. For every batter, they've got an answer. They have every style of bowler you could want, pretty much, aside from a left arm leg break spinner or wrist spinner. But yeah, it's they've got all these great different styles of bowling. People that turn it this way, people that turn it that way, swing it this way, left arm, right arm, all the stuff. And with their batting team, though, I think it might turn out to be a benefit that they don't have that one bat in the middle that somebody can bring in their part-time off-break bowler to get a couple of overs against that guy, which then would allow the rest of your bowling attack to attack individuals.
Yeah, you can't play the matchups. Yeah.
So now they have phase bowling.
Right.
They just have, okay, well, this guy bowls in the middle, this guy bowls at the start, and that's how cricket kind of is.
Yep.
For the but it takes away some of the creativity from the captains.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of T20 cricket. We see more matchup bowling rather than phase bowling, and it's called cricket, who have helped us out so much. I have your stat coming for Nate later in the day, so make sure you stick around for that. But they asked, why did Dane only bowl 2 overs? And really, there's no real answer that we can give you, but it's matchups. They felt the matchup was better for Akil Hussain, or they felt the matchup was better for Marco Janssen or Henrik Norke. And they have the luxury of expressing with those matchups.
They do, and I think especially by the time Dre Russ gets in the middle, it's a big risk to go with an off-break bowler. You know, because maybe there's a lefty in partnership with him, but Dre Russell is the type of guy that when he finds the bowler that he wants, he's not afraid to tell his partner, no, I'm not taking a single.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm staying on strike. You know, and so he does that a lot.
Right.
But you can't blame him when he can blast away at the strike rate he did yesterday, 189 strike rate. You know, so I like Washington Freedom. I feel like everyone accepts their role.
Yep.
Everybody's, you know, they look at they bowled 6 bowlers yesterday, like you said. Moises bowled 3. Moises and Enrique has been phenomenal in this tournament. He's with the ball. I've been really impressed to see how well he's done in this tournament with the ball. And up to this point, up to yesterday's game, he might have been the best performing captain. In the tournament. Obviously, Sunil Narayan has bowled well too.
Sunil Narayan and Wayne Parnell. We'll get to his contribution later.
Sure, but that was today.
That was today.
Up until today.
I
think Moises was
right
the best,
up. He was
best performing captain.
Absolutely. I think he's right up there. Before we keep moving on, PJ Goodall's, our buddy PJ, he's got a couple comments in there. He said, Nate, he loves your beard, and he heard that you're only going to shave it when Morsel gets a major league team. Now, is there truth to that rumor?
You know,
this is breaking stuff, guys.
It depends on how many viewers we get out of it. Like, if we can get some subscribers, I will keep this beard. PJ,
guys, subscribe if you want the beard. And if you don't want the beard, subscribe that you don't want the beard. But either way, you should be using some type of activity right now.
Yeah, PJ.
Here we go. I got this. Subscribe if you want the beard. Like the post if you don't want the beard. Yeah?
Like the post anyway.
Like the post anyway.
We'll figure out your intentions.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. There's a way to.
Comment
we can tell.
either way.
Promise. YouTube has that opportunity.
Comment either way. PJ just said, when is Dane coming back on? This show needs someone with a personality.
I agree. We agree. Dane, the great Dane. We miss you. We miss you. Come back on here.
Dane is having too much fun for us right
now. I know.
He's having too much fun for us. And I don't blame him.
No, I don't blame him either.
But
also,
I might have to go to the hotel and find him. I might have to go to the hotel and find him tonight. Get him out there and be like, with my own little mic. Dane, come on.
Dane, get this little mic.
Get on here. We need some personality.
Also, PJ, I'd love a shampoo and conditioner sponsor. That'd be fantastic.
Charlie subbed. Charlie, you're the man.
You're the man.
Thanks, buddy.
Appreciate you. But
it's called Cricket chiming in.
They were the ones talking about why did Dane only have those 2 overs. So fantastic. Questions there. Again, we're always happy to answer questions. We love them. It helps the conversation go and keeps us engaged with you guys. So if you have questions, if you have thoughts, put them in there.
I promise, PJ, Mrs. Nate is not watching this. I can promise you that.
She's heard it all before. Don't worry. She's
I can
heard
say whatever I want. This is a safe place for me.
It's a safe place.
Now don't go and ruin it.
Well, now we'll go into the second match, which was today's match. It was between the Texas Super Kings and the Seattle Orcas, and it was again another sea of yellow here at Church Street Park. The atmosphere has been great.
It's been phenomenal.
Church Street. Like always, the hill's been packed.
It looks so good on TV.
It looks great on TV.
It looks so great on TV.
The drone shots in particular. Both places. Both places have been fantastic. I wonder who that drone operator is.
And somebody somebody on Reddit said that he had seen some games here at Church Street Park, and the drone shots were some of the best he'd ever seen in a broadcast. That's our buddy there, Bobber. So, Bobber, I'm going to have to get some more footage of you operating the drone shots while you're not paying attention, while my camera is at 4 inches from your face, and you somehow don't notice it. I'm going to have to get some more of those. Yes, PJ's saying the Morrisville lights look darker than Dallas. They are darker, PJ. We didn't maybe appreciate how much darker they would be until we saw both of them in person.
Yeah.
It's
There's
darker.
definitely some pockets.
We can upgrade.
We can upgrade, yeah, and it's part of the ever-growing process of cricket in the USA to get those things upgraded. But yes, it's a little bit dimmer, and I do think it might be having to do something with start times being moved up a little bit earlier, just to make sure that there's safety involved. Everyone can see the ball.
And we've got someone here who says, what are the chances to get you all on the commentary team? Not fun, said that. So I think it's going to take a bribe. At least a bribe.
Yeah, at least a bribe.
At least a bribe. So we'll see. I think maybe in years to come you can see this guy.
I don't know about that.
That's our goal. We want to get Aaman on the commentary.
The commentary team this year's been fantastic.
Well, yeah, but you know what? They're good, and they're doing what they do for a reason, and people want to hear them.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. People want to hear them. So we've got obviously our buddy Nikhil Odamchandani, who's been doing a great job. I've really enjoyed watching the little videos that he's done. Or
little interviews and stuff.
Yeah, the interviews.
Timeouts. The strategic timeout video is my favorite thing ever.
That was terrific.
Howdy, y'all. I told him he's got to do the whole. He's got to do a whole commentary session.
I don't know if I
his
ever
southern accent.
Just hearing Nick saying that, I would have never imagined that.
Yeah.
Nick saying howdy, y'all. That was worth it by itself.
By itself.
And there's other Joel. Could be doing this
Joel,
too. We
yeah.
love Joel. So there's a lot of people who could be involved in the broadcasting, and we'll see. I'm sure we'll see some more of this, some more of the locals and like yourself, Aaman, in the broadcast team in the future. I'm sure that's going to happen. But yeah, we appreciate Nafan. We appreciate you, saying that. That's very kind of you. Yeah, I don't want to use up too much more time with that.
No, very kind indeed. And we have so much fun doing this show and bringing you guys this coverage. And we'll jump into that second match because if we don't, PJ's going to keep talking about how that ball is going to end up in South Carolina.
It wouldn't have, PJ. It would have ended up on the coast.
It would have ended up on the coast.
Because it was going to the east.
And it would have ended up hitting a couple of car windshields on the way over.
It might have landed at the home of flight at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina.
It could have been there. How awesome would that have been, right? Full circle moment for Kitty Hawk.
Glad I thought of that.
That was great. Get this man on the broadcast team. But anyway, moving to Texas and Seattle, the coin took flight and it landed in Seattle's favor. And the Orcas, once again, they elected to bowl first, as everyone will hear. TSK, they stayed with the same 11 that featured Daniel Sams and Zia-ul-Haq Mohammed instead of a Calvin Savage and Jared Kosey.
Right.
And then for Seattle, a change. They go with Dashin Shanaka over Shimron Hetmeyer. Not sure as to why they go possibly for the extra bowling option.
Yeah.
But you know that Hetmeyer's a match winner, so maybe they just wanted to get both some playing time in there.
I think they just thought Quentin DeCock was going to come off today.
Well, there you go. I mean, they were right about that. But first, we'll start with what happened with the bat for the Texas Super Kings. And right away, Ahmad Wasim for the Orcas makes the impact with Devin Conway going first ball. And Nate, here's a stat for you. It's courtesy of It's Called Cricket. Devin Conway, in his 4 innings through Major League Cricket, has either scored a 50 or a golden ball duck.
Really?
Yeah.
Either 50 or
golden ball duck.
Wow.
There you go.
It's pretty easy to figure the average out there.
So
I like that. It's pretty round.
It's pretty round. He's either gotten to himself 250 and above.
Oh, 50 and above. Okay.
Or he's got himself a golden duck.
Yeah, that's, hey, you know what? It's we're just going to have to talk about him only on the odd games.
And also, Nate,
not even games.
Yeah, there you go. And also, we are maybe lacking in some of our knowledge because Hetmeyer's been called up to the West Indies team. That's what we're
getting. Yeah, well, there's a blind spot.
Yeah, thank you guys for telling us in the comments.
You know what?
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, Akhilesh Swami. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Akhilesh. Yeah, we didn't know that because it's hard. Honestly, it's hard to do anything but this right now.
Yeah, we're so dialed in. There was an Ashes game today. India versus West Indies was today, and I could kind of tell you. I think Zach Crawley scored 100, which is fantastic. But other than that, I can't tell you much. Johnny Bairstow just missed out on one. I know that for a fact.
We have another question here, real quick. Before we, I don't want to derail things too much. But what are your thoughts on this team's social media platforms? It feels that there's a real disconnect from the IPL teams and their local engagement. Well, I don't think that's their goal right now. I think, especially Texas. They're gonna. If you see, Texas has done a lot of Texas Central stuff.
Yes,
but they have a ground. They have a local community. Yeah. The other teams, I think right now they want to engage their existing fans, and they want to say, hey, it's more expensive to gain fans than it is to keep them.
Sure.
So I think they're just trying to get the people that they know will watch to say, hey, keep watching, keep watching. And I think that they'll probably move that into the locals in another phase. Whereas the non-IPL teams, they have to engage right now.
Right.
They just absolutely have to. So that's probably part of it. There's strategy to this, and I think especially LAKR, especially LAKR, they want this to work.
Yeah.
And so I think that they're going to do the smart things as things unfold.
Yeah, it's been fantastic to see what the social media presence has been like. I think it's interesting to see the different strategies. And again, I think you're right. There's certain stages and certain phases they need to go through to kind of get to that point, and there's reasons for it. But speaking of games, did you find something for
No,
me?
Akhilesh Swami talking about how good the Twitter admin is for MLC.
Wow.
And on the other hand, the MLC social media team is thriving as they're close to reaching nearly 100K.
That's incredible.
No, they're doing. I'll tell you what, whoever's doing that is doing a great job.
Fantastic
and Akhilesh,
stuff.
you are right. So let's go on.
Back to the Texas Super Kings. PJ mentioned it. It seems like an opener is getting out pretty quickly every match, and that trend continues with Devin Conway.
That's true.
Faf goes pretty quickly after, just 10 balls faced for him, 13 runs. Cody Chetty was the first victim of Wayne Parnell, who ended up taking a fifer, and the fifer included Chetty, Miller, David Miller, Milan Kumar, and a Dwayne Bravo. Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
Fifer for him, and he also took Zio Huck and then ran out Muhammad Wilson. So he was just all amongst it.
All over the place.
And I think the key for Seattle here was you saw them keep TSK down.
Here's a couple here. There we go. There's a couple of early
fantastic wickets for Wayne Parnell.
From Wayne. Yeah, and you know what? As we show his highlights, what a guy, man. We had some time to talk with him. Here's Santner with his wicket, which was kind of like the lone. Look at him. He knows that it's not a big, And there we go with a big six right down the ground from Clausen, who was phenomenal. But yeah, there's a little bit of some of the highlights of the game there. But yeah.
Again, I think what Seattle did really well, right, in the sense of TSK was scoring. They were keeping themselves in the game. They were keeping themselves moving. They were, Bravo was in the game. They had 50, 70 runs. They were moving, and you felt Bravo was just this close away from exploding, but they never let him get going, and that, to me, was the key. They took wickets in regular intervals. They kept things pointed down, and then, unlike for the Knight Riders, when Jay Russ exploded, Bravo was not given that opportunity, kept off strike for a long period of time, and just never got the opportunity to get going. So he only gets 39 off 39, and unlike Dwayne Bravo.
They needed kind of a Texas-style Dwayne Bravo in it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and he's been doing it all season. You're thinking, man, he could do it. Daniel Sams adds a little bit more batting to there.
My Lord, the 160 he hit.
Holy smokes!
Over there to the south west end of the ground, ridiculous. We were sitting in that shelter, the media folks. And it went right over us into the woods. People had to climb the fence that they had built there to keep people from sneaking in that way, and then go find the ball.
Yeah, unreal.
And I think it's called cricket. We're one of the folks that actually went out.
They're committed. They're committed in every single way.
I got to touch the ball for a second.
There you go. Good work,
Kind
mate.
of cool. That was kind of
But
stolen valor there.
Stolen valor. But TSK held to 127 out there, 20 overs. Wayne Parnell, we mentioned, 5 wickets to his name. Just 20 runs in his 4 overs. But Andrew Ty was great, 4 overs, 15 runs and 2 wickets. Madozine, that first wicket. Cameron Gannon was good once again. And Harmeet Singh, 3 overs, 20 runs. Didn't get a wicket to his name. But, again, when you hold it side to 127, when you know it's going to open up for you batting-wise, it's going to be a little bit easier to bat in that second innings, you feel really good. And they're waiting for Quinton de Kock to fire, and what did he do? 53 off 36 today.
Right. Quinton was phenomenal today. It was, that low total was never going to be defended here, but especially because of that start from Quinton de Kock. And obviously, Aaman Anwar was unusually slow today.
Yeah.
I talked to him a little bit after the game. He said the wicket was tricky.
And I also thought the best time for Texas to get back in the game was going to be that first 3 to 4 overs when the sun was still out.
Sure.
There wasn't as much dew on the wicket, so they
had to strike early.
They had to strike early.
Absolutely.
They needed to take those early wickets, and to their credit, they were bowling well. Anwar was struggling, but he just didn't throw it away. And I think that was the key for anyone batting second here at Churchill Park. It's it's gonna, if you're batting second, it's gonna be tough for the first couple overs.
Yeah.
But don't throw it away. You're gonna get your reward at some point.
You're right, and Mosin was really the only bowler who went expensive for Texas, and he still took a wicket. He's taken a wicket in all 4 of his games. I think you keep him in. He was expensive today, but I still think you keep him in.
You get a wrist spinner. He's been great all tournament. PJ asked, and I'm gonna pose this question to you, Nate. You know, was Mosin just off today, or do you think Heinrich Clausen was just that good?
I think Clausen was just fantastic.
I think Clausen was fantastic. Also, at Churchill Park, you've never experienced the amount of dew that comes onto that field. The ball gets really hard to grip.
It does.
I also think you're going to see a lot more spinners bowl in the power play of the second innings because
I think so.
That's the best time to get those overs in.
You got to get them in there.
And it's just tough for a wrist spinner when the ball is wet. It's hard to grip. The seam is kind of in a different position.
Right.
So that, and we know this, right? Because we've seen games here. When you watch Raptors games, that's why you see a lot more Dane early. Why you see a lot of Obis early. Why you see a lot of these guys bowl early on because they know if they're going to bowl second, it's going to get harder to bowl for the spinners. Just get as many overs of spin as you can.
As the innings goes on.
Yeah, and so you can always rely on your paces later in the game.
And this is one of the reasons Seattle did so well in the final, in minor league Seattle.
Yeah.
The Seattle Thunders did so well in the final. You know, they had 2 spin bowlers in their attack, and one of them is a power play specialist, in Akhilesh Badagam. And so when he came in at the start of that finals, they were defending.
Yeah.
And you know, like you said, he started off the innings bowling. You got his overs in, and then the rest of their team just makes sense. It's built well for this.
No, absolutely.
Thing. And so somebody like Nosh coming in on Sunday when MI New York finally plays. If I was New York, I'd probably play both Nosh and Rashid Khan.
And just go one less bat anyway, right?
Yeah,
if you have 3 batters who are struggling, why try to keep forcing them on when you have a bowler performing? I think that's the question you have to have.
I agree with you. And then you've got Nosh bowling in the power play, and then Rashid Khan with his variations and the pace that he rips it through. You know, I think that might actually work out okay on here at this ground in the middle overseas, even in the chase.
Right. Yeah. No, I think it's going to be really interesting to see what teams do. Seattle, they handled their business clean and easy, get it, just relatively effortlessly almost.
Yeah.
16 overs, they win with 24 balls remaining, 8 wickets left in hand.
Right.
They move to the top of the leaderboard with 6 points. Texas falls to second, with Washington at third, and San Francisco sitting at fourth at the moment. So tomorrow we're going to get to see San Francisco take on Washington, so that'll be a battle for that third spot. Right. Washington could even jump into the second spot if they get a win tomorrow.
Yeah.
So, again, a lot at stake here in the second leg of the tournament.
There is a lot at stake here, and it's interesting, obviously, with the points and the net run rate differential, Texas retains second place, even though they're 2-2, Washington's 2-1. The thing is, the Washington Freedom, the net run rate isn't going to be advantageous to them because their 2 wins came with teams piling up runs at the end of a chase that was not going to happen.
Not going to happen, yeah. So that's going to be the tricky thing for them. They don't want to get into a net run rate battle of any situation. They're going to want to be...
Sorry, I said that wrong. The second time was piling up runs
early in the first innings.
At the end of a first innings where they weren't going to have enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, we all get what you're saying, Nate. We know what you're trying to say.
I had to correct myself. I'm an American. I got to be careful. I got to say things the right way, or else you're going to get people, oh, I'm American. I know you're new to cricket. Like that. You're going to get those explanations.
Before we jump off here, just a couple things being thrown out in the comments. Charlie with another question. What's it going to take to get TSK to adjust their batting order? It feels like they're, he says weird, but they're giving up chances to pick up runs because they can't do anything in the power play. I'm not sure. Well, what adjustment would you make, Nate, for the power play? Because when I look at it, right, you're talking right now, you're going to have Faf and Devin, they're going to open the batting. That's not going to be a question. Now, is it still going to be Cody Chetty, or do they move into a Liru Malanta again? Do they go to maybe a Sammy Eslam?
I think regardless of what you do, you got to win the toss. I think that the toss matters a lot here. I mean, look, nobody wants to admit it. Nobody wants to say, oh, well, the toss makes this much of a difference in this league, because you obviously want things to be even. But really,
especially at Church Street Park.
At Church Street Park, the toss matters. And we are about to move the games a half hour earlier to 5 o'clock starts. Yeah. And this is just the truth of the matter. If they move it earlier to 5 o'clock starts, now the team batting first doesn't get the benefit of those last 10 overs.
Yeah.
Where if the batting conditions improve, you've got basically almost your entire innings. It's a harsher condition,
and it's going to get a lot easier to bat. Yeah.
And you have to. So what you have to do is you have to preserve wickets early. Here in the first innings, you have to preserve the early wickets. It's not as important probably to get the. I mean, if you can go ahead and score 70 runs in the power play and lose 1 wicket, then do it.
Yeah.
But that's a harder thing to do in the first innings here.
Yeah, it is.
So I would say be reasonable. Put a lot of onus on your middle to late batting, middle
and
batting.
Texas can do that, right?
And they can do that.
Another thing Akila said was he asked Fleming about Milind Kumar at 5 as well, and it seemed like he was a little bit disappointed about Kumar's performance over these 4 games, and I can understand why. Also, I don't think batting where Milind Kumar is batting is kind of what he's used to. Batting at 5 is just not.
Yeah.
I don't think he's really done that in his career, especially in a T20 game.
I think he can. It is a difficult position.
It's different, right? Especially, I don't think he's a guy who's accustomed to coming in and hitting first ball.
Well,
right?
the tricky thing is he's not an international player.
Right.
He's not one of these internationals that are. Those guys adapt to the conditions faster. The biggest difference, I think, between the domestics and the internationals is the internationals are adapting to the conditions faster.
Yes.
I think that's the biggest difference. And when you play at the number 5 position,
it's all about adaptation.
It's all about adapting quickly.
Yeah.
And that's a hard spot to be put in. Now, listening to their coach after the game, talking in the presser, he said, he needs to score runs.
Yeah.
Now, at the same time, you got the impression from them, as he was talking about the team, it's just matter of fact. Yes, you need to score runs in this position.
Right.
You have to. It's matter of fact, but I don't think it's I've lost hope in this guy.
Right. No,
he did not convey that at all.
I do think before you head to postseason, you might want to just try out a semi, a slow. Maybe Elihu Malanta plugs in at 5. Just because you don't want to leave any stone unturned, especially Sammy Elson, who hasn't played a single game yet in this competition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And again, he's not as accustomed to coming in at 5 either.
Do you really want to go that many lefties in your batting, though?
That's also the bigger question, right?
So.
Is that why you don't want to go? I'm just curious to see what they do, because I do think they tried something new going with Sams and Zia Haq Muhammad, and it worked for them. They like that better. I'm not sure if we're going to see more Calvin Savage in this tournament. I'd love to see more Calvin Savage.
I think with Sams in the team, he's batting at that Calvin Savage style of position, and so I think that's with Coetzee in the team, you could put Calvin Savage in. And it worked out great for the balance of the team.
Exactly.
But like Sam's really hammered it today.
Yep. And you get 2 options from the left.
And he's still well short of his typical strike rate.
Sure.
So yeah, you've got to it really depends on a lot of things. Muhammad Zia-ul-Haq did not bowl terribly, but did not bowl exceptionally either.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of questions that we'll be asking for Texas coming into this.
Yeah.
Their next matchup. We'll have a lot of questions for
both
teams tomorrow, and then New York coming up on Sunday. So much we could talk about. We can sit here.
Stuff.
We can spend all day.
I've got a million things on the tip of my tongue right now.
And we love you guys in the comments asking those questions, helping us come up with these talking points, and being part of the conversation. That's what we love. We love having this interactive sessions with you guys. So please please subscribe, please comment on more shows, and share this with your buddies who you think they would be interested in Major League Cricket, because we appreciate you guys tuning into this show. And for myself, for Nate Hayes, and for Bobber Begg, who's made all this possible, thank you for joining us on another Big Innings.